Hello. Have you ever set a big goal for yourself? Something that felt genuinely life-changing? Maybe it was to get in shape to finally start that business, or to become a more patient and present parent. You felt so motivated at the beginning. You bought the gym membership. You created a detailed plan. You were full of hope. But then the motivation faded. The plan collected dust, and you found yourself right back where you started, feeling even more frustrated than before. If you've ever experienced this cycle, you're not alone. In our last discussion, we explored the incredible power of a growth mindset, the scientific truth that your abilities are not fixed, but can be cultivated through effort and persistence. We learned that your brain is a dynamic, ever-changing tool, capable of building new neural pathways. That understanding is the first crucial step. But it doesn't solve the core problem. The question remains, why do we so often find ourselves returning to our old selves, even when we know we can grow? Why is change so difficult to sustain? The answer lies deeper than you think. It's not about what you do, but about who you are. The reason most self-improvement fails is that it focuses on a change in actions without addressing a change in identity. We try to act like a person we are not. We try to do something when what we really need is to become someone else. We are stuck in a prison built by our own identity, and we don't even realize it. Think about the way we typically approach change. We tell ourselves, I need to go to the gym 3 times a week, or I need to write 500 words every day. We focus on the action, but that action feels forced and unnatural because it is out of alignment with our current self-image. Our brain's most fundamental job is to keep us safe and predictable. It hates cognitive dissonance, the uncomfortable feeling that arises when our behavior clashes with our beliefs. So, when you, a person who sees yourself as not a gym person, force yourself to go to the gym, your brain senses a conflict. It will do everything in its power through feelings of resistance, doubt, and laziness to push you back to the comfortable, familiar person you have always been. The fixed mindset says, I'm not a runner, but the real prison is saying, I am not a runner. The action will always lose to the identity. This is the most critical distinction in personal transformation. True, lasting change doesn't happen when you simply do something different. It happens when you believe something different about yourself. It's an identity shift. The goal isn't to get into the habit of reading, the goal is to become a reader. The goal isn't to lose 20 pounds. The goal is to become a healthy person. The actions become a natural byproduct of your new identity. When you see yourself as a reader, you don't have to force yourself to pick up a book. It's just what a person like you does. This is not just a psychological trick. It is a fundamental truth, rooted in the very fabric of how your brain is wired. Your identity is a self-reinforcing belief system that your brain creates to make sense of the world and your place in it. For years, you've been building a narrative about who you are, based on your past actions and experiences. This narrative, like a well-worn path through a forest, is a deep neural pathway. When you try to do something that contradicts this path, your brain resists it. It feels like pushing against a great, unseen force. But the truth is, you are the author of this narrative. You are the architect of your own identity. You just need to learn how to actively rewrite the script. The first step in this rewriting process is to recognize the power of your past votes. Every action you take is a vote for the person you believe you are. If you binge-watch TV shows every night, you are casting votes for the identity of a person who watches a lot of television. If you skip the gym, you are casting a vote for the identity of someone who is not athletic. These votes accumulate over time, solidifying your self-image. For a long time, you may have been voting for a version of yourself that you don't even like. The good news is, a new vote, a single tiny action, can begin to turn the tide. So how do you start casting new votes? The process of an identity shift begins with 2 simple yet profound questions. First, who do I want to be? Not what do I want to have, or what do I want to do, but what kind of person do I want to be? Do you want to be the kind of person who is disciplined? The kind of person who is healthy? The kind of person who is creative? Be specific. Instead of I want to be rich, think, I want to be the kind of person who creates value for others and manages my finances wisely. This is your aspirational identity. Second question is, what would that person do? If you want to become a reader, what would a reader do today? They would read one page. If you want to become a runner, what would a runner do today? They would put on their shoes and walk around the block. The key is to make the action so small, so laughably easy, that it is impossible to say no to. The goal isn't to run a marathon on day one. The goal is to cast a single vote for your new identity, and with each vote you begin to build a new narrative, a new neural pathway. You are proving to your brain, with 1,000 tiny actions, that the old story is no longer true. This process is a battle against the old narrative's inertia. It will whisper you, you're not a morning person. You don't have enough time. But you counter that voice with a small, silent vote. You get up and put your feet on the floor. You write one sentence. You choose the salad over the fries. Each vote is a small act of defiance against your old self. And as you accumulate these votes, something extraordinary begins to happen. The cognitive dissonance reverses. It no longer feels uncomfortable to go to the gym or to eat healthy. It starts to feel uncomfortable not to. Your brain begins to see your new behavior not as a struggle but as a confirmation of who you are. The new pathway becomes the superhighway, and the old one slowly begins to disappear. This identity shift is also deeply affected by your environment. Your environment is a powerful silent signal that tells you what kind of person you are. If your home is a cluttered mess, it's easy to believe you are a disorganized person. If your refrigerator is full of junk food, it's easy to believe you are not a healthy person. Your environment is a reflection of your identity, and your identity is a reflection of your environment. You can leverage this. The moment you change your environment, you are making it easier for yourself to act like the person you want to become. You're removing the temptations and adding the cues that support your new identity. It's not about willpower, it's about smart design. The person who wants to eat healthier and the person who has a bowl of fruit on their counter are not on the same playing field. The person who wants to start writing and the person who keeps a pen and notebook on their desk are not on the same playing field. Your environment is either helping you or hindering you. Another powerful tool in this process is the language you use. Words have power, especially the ones you say to yourself. A person trying to change often says, "I'm trying to become a disciplined person." But this statement, while well-intentioned, reinforces the identity of a person who is not yet disciplined. It places the desired identity in the distant future. The identity shift requires you to bring it into the present. The most powerful phrase you can use is, "I am a person who goes to the gym. I am a writer. I am a patient person." This simple linguistic shift signals to your brain that the new identity is not a goal to be reached, but a fact to be lived. It's a statement of ownership, and your brain loves ownership. It will begin to seek out ways to confirm this new truth about you. This is not a matter of positive affirmations without action. This is the act of marrying your action to your belief. Every single action you take, no matter how small, is a silent affirmation that is more powerful than any words you could ever say. It is the language of your identity. It's a quiet declaration that you are not who you used to be. The profound truth of the identity shift is that it is a process of becoming, not a process of arriving. You will never arrive at the destination of being a perfect person. The journey is the reward. The satisfaction comes from the continuous act of casting a vote for your best self. It is in the courage to choose the new path even when the old one is still clear and well-worn. It's in the resilience to get back up after a setback, not because you failed, but because you are a person who gets back up. And what happens when you fully embrace this process? When you truly become the person you want to be. You stop trying to change and you start simply being. You stop worrying about what you should do and you start acting instinctively in alignment with your values and beliefs. The friction disappears. The struggle ends. The person you once aspired to be is no longer a goal. They are simply you. And that is the most freeing and empowering feeling in the world. This fundamental change also has a profound ripple effect on the world around you. When you become the person who is disciplined, others see it, and they are inspired not by what you do, but by the person you have become. You don't have to preach or convince. Your very existence becomes a living example of what is possible. When you shift your identity, you create a new gravity well, a new center of being that pulls others toward it. You become a lighthouse for those who are still lost in the fog of a fixed mindset. This isn't about finding a magic bullet or a shortcut. It's about a deep, fundamental shift in how you view yourself and your place in the world. It's about understanding the silent, powerful language of identity. It's about choosing your next route and the person you want to become. And it will be the most rewarding journey you ever take. Because true change doesn't happen when you simply do something different. It happens when you choose to become someone else. Now that we understand the power of this shift, let's talk about how to make it a sustainable, lifelong practice. Because the journey of becoming is never truly finished. It's a continuous process of evolution and refinement. The key is to stop relying on willpower, which is a finite resource, and start building systems that support your new identity. You think about the most successful people you know. They don't rely on brute force willpower to get things done. They've built their lives around habits and environments that make the right choices the easy ones. A person who wants to be healthy doesn't rely on willpower to resist a donut. They simply don't have donuts in their house. They've changed their environment to reflect their new identity. This is the difference between a goal-oriented approach and an identity-based approach. The goal is to run a marathon. The identity is to become a runner. The goal is to write a book. The identity is to become a writer. When you've made the identity shift, the actions become not a chore but an affirmation. So, your final step in this process is to become an architect of your own habits and a designer of your own environment. Start with one tiny, ridiculously easy habit that reinforces your new identity. For example, if you want to become a creative person, your first habit isn't to write a novel, it's to write one sentence. If you want to become a disciplined person, it's not to wake up at 5 a.m. every day. It's to wake up and put your feet on the floor when the alarm goes off. These tiny actions are not about the result. They are about casting a vote. They are about sending a signal to your brain, I am this person now. And every single time you cast that vote, you make that neural pathway a little bit deeper, a little bit stronger. This process is about stacking these small wins on top of each other. Each tiny vote builds momentum. The more you act like the person you want to be, the more you believe you are that person. The more you believe, the easier it is to act. It becomes a beautiful, virtuous cycle that accelerates over time. This is not about a lightning bolt moment of change. It's about a slow, steady, and inevitable transformation. It is the quiet power of consistency over intensity. And as you progress, you will begin to notice something profound. Your self-talk will change. Your confidence will grow. And the people around you will begin to notice the change in your behavior. Not because you're trying to prove something, but because you're simply acting in alignment with who you are. This is the true power of the identity shift. It's not about finding a magic bullet or a shortcut. It's about understanding the science, making a choice, and doing the work. Because in the end, it's not about what you do, it's about the person you choose to become. The greatest freedom of all is found not in what you get to do, but in the person you become. When you shift your identity, you create a ripple effect that touches every part of your life and the lives of those around you. You don't have to announce your change. Your new identity will do the talking for you. People will begin to notice your quiet consistency, your growing confidence, and your unwavering purpose. Your very existence becomes an inspiration to others. You become a living example of what is possible, simply by choosing to act in alignment with your best self. This is how you build a new inner circle, not by seeking out new people, but by becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts them. And as this transformation takes hold, you'll discover a deeper, more profound reward than any external accomplishment. The true prize of the identity shift isn't the six-pack, a bigger bank account, or a finished manuscript. Those are merely the external signs of an internal change. The real victory is the peace that comes from knowing who you are. The anxiety and self-doubt that plagued your old identity begin to fade, replaced by a quiet, unwavering sense of self-trust. You stop needing external validation because your worth is no longer tied to your result. It is simply a byproduct of the person you have become. This is the ultimate freedom. So where do you go from here? Remember, the journey of an identity shift never truly ends. It's a continuous process of becoming. You will never arrive at the final destination because your best self is always evolving, always learning, always growing. The person you are today is a little bit better than the person you were yesterday, and the person you become tomorrow will be even better still. It is a commitment to a life of continuous improvement, not a race to a finish line. It is a celebration of the process, not just the pride. This is the power you hold. You are not a static object. You are a living, breathing testament to the power of human evolution. You have the ability to rewrite your own narrative, to cast a vote for your best self with every single action you take, and to build a life of purpose, peace, and progress. It is a choice you make, not once, but every day. It's about choosing to say, I am, and living into that truth. The fixed mindset is a prison of your own making, built with walls of I can'ts and I'm nots. The identity shift is the key to that prison. It is the key to unlocking the life you've always wanted, not by doing more, but by becoming more. Because true change doesn't happen when you simply do something different. It happens when you choose to become someone else. Now that we have this foundational understanding, let's talk about the final, most important layer of this transformation. It's the moment when the outside world collides with your new identity and how you learn to navigate it. The moment you begin to live in alignment with your new self, you will inevitably face challenges from people and situations that are still operating on your old narrative. Your friends, your family, your coworkers, they all have a certain identity for you, and when you change, it can create discomfort in them. You are defying their expectation of who you are, and they might unknowingly try to pull you back into your old habit. They might say, come on, one donut won't hurt, or you've changed, you're not as fun anymore. This is not an attack. This is simply a natural reaction to the disruption of their own reality, a reality in which you were a certain kind of person. Your job is not to fight them, but to gently hold your new identity as a sacred, non-negotiable part of who you are. The way you respond to these challenges is another vote for your new self. By kindly saying no thank you, or by quietly choosing the healthier option, you are reinforcing your new narrative. This is the moment when your identity becomes an armor against external pressure. It is the final layer of protection for the new you. And as you continue to cast these votes, you will see a profound change in your relationships. Your new identity will begin to naturally attract people who align with your values and support your goals. You will find that some relationships fade, not because of conflict, but because there is no longer a shared narrative to bind you together. This is a sign of progress, not loss. You are making space for the people who will celebrate the person you are becoming. This is how you build a powerful inner circle, not by seeking out new people, but by becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts them. The true goal of the identity shift is not to reach a destination, but to reach a state of internal coherence. It is the profound sense of peace that comes from your actions, beliefs, and values, all being in perfect alignment. The internal friction disappears. The self-doubt fades. You stop needing external validation because your worth is no longer tied to what you achieve, but to who you are. This is the ultimate freedom, the quiet, unwavering trust that you are on the right path, simply by living in alignment with your best self. So where do you go from here? The journey of an identity shift never truly ends. It's a commitment to a life of continuous improvement, not a race to a finish line. It is a celebration of the process, not just the prize. It is the courage to cast one more vote for your best self, even when the temptation to revert is strong. It is the realization that your best self is not a distant goal to be achieved, but a continuous choice to be made right here, right now. This is the power you hold. You are a living, breathing testament to the power of human evolution. You have the ability to rewrite your own narrative, to cast a vote for your best self with every single action you take, and to build a life of purpose, peace, and progress. It is a choice you make, not once, but every day. It's about choosing to say I am and living into that truth. The fixed mindset is a prison of your own making, built with walls of I can'ts and I'm nots. The identity shift is the key to that prison. It is the key to unlocking the life you've always wanted, not by doing more, but by becoming more. Because true change doesn't happen when you simply do something different. It happens when you choose to become someone else.